Hi there, Fleur.
Hello, Jacinta.
How are you going?
Well, thank you.
That's
thank
good.
you for my cup of tea.
Oh, that's my pleasure. Not a problem. So I sent you the email
Yes.
to set up this meeting so I can give you the results of your application for recognised prior learning. So I just wanted to remind you, Fleur, that recognised prior learning, and almost we use RPL, it's a bit quicker,
Yeah.
is the opportunity for you to provide evidence, and enough evidence, that shows you have covered the units of competency. So throughout my assessment, there's regular checks across to the unit of competencies, because I need to make sure that you are able to provide evidence and that you've shown evidence that you have covered all the competency for that unit. All right. Was there any, I said in the email about bringing any other evidence, have you thought of?
No.
Okay.
No.
You've
I'm happy
exhausted
with
it all.
happy with what I've
Okay, no, that's fine. Sometimes people go away and think, oh, that's what I needed, or, you know, from our first interview, you might have thought, oh, that's another really good example of evidence.
Yeah.
So it's good to have that opportunity, but that's fine if you haven't got anything.
Yep.
So today I will go through the assessment results, and I've got my assessor kit here, and I'll put it in the middle and we can read through it.
Okay.
And I've got quite detailed information in there for you with the feedback. And we'll have a look at the strengths and gaps, if there are any, and at the end, some recommendations if need be. So I think we'll get the elephant out of the room, Fleur, and I will tell you your results. So then you're not having to wait till the very end, and the feedback and the discussions we have, you can absorb rather than wondering if you've been granted or not. So from the evidence that you submitted, it hasn't been granted, the RPL, okay?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I did expect that.
Okay.
So there's a couple of little areas that I know I'm not overconfident on, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. And as we go through this process now, and it most probably will be the areas where you thought, yeah, I thought so, but it should be a good experience for you to receive some feedback, because it's not all negative, and not being granted the RPL doesn't mean it's the end and all. It's just that there are a couple of gaps. And those gaps you can use, you know, to your benefit, and I will talk about that later on.
Sure.
All right, so this is my kit, my assessor kit here, and I've got your kit and your portfolio here, just in case if we need to refer it. So if I'm shuffling papers. All right, so this is you, Fleur Riley, and we come through. Thank you. All right. So the first part that I assessed and had a look through was the evidence that you gave. So this first one here, the candidate shows evidence that they are able to discuss and agree on work goals and plan with assistance from relevant personnel. And yes, you demonstrated this through your task schedules and email correspondence. So all that in your portfolio and your written answers, you were able to do that. So that's good. The next one, the candidate shows evidence that they can link their work goals and plans in connection to the organisation's goals and plans. And you did this in your evidence through a written reflection, through your task schedules and your time management plan. I've highlighted here, it says the candidate provides evidence on how they research time management techniques and strategies, and that was a no. So within the evidence that you gave, there wasn't anything that gave sufficient evidence to show that you researched time management techniques.
Okay.
And that might have been something where you had a light bulb moment, and thought, okay. The next one, the candidate provides evidence of planning and prioritising their work tasks within the allocated time frame. Yes, tick, tick, tick. You know, lots of evidence, strong evidence for this.
Good.
Your to-do lists, your time management strategies, and the little plan and your timetables and how you manage it all. Very strong evidence for this one, Fleur.
Yep.
The next one, the candidate gives evidence on how they seek feedback on time management from relevant personnel. And this got a no. In your evidence, you show how you respond to feedback, even
Yes.
your evidence about the feedback in regards to excuse me, taking time off. From your line managers recommended that. But the evidence, there isn't any evidence where you are seeking feedback on your time management skills.
Okay, all right.
The next one, the candidate gives evidence of how they record changes to their time management approach according to task instructions. Yes, you definitely provided evidence with that in your written reflection and your time management plan. And also, the candidate gives evidence on how they identify and plan opportunities for improvement in discussion with colleagues. And yes, you did that with emails,
Okay.
the meetings with
Yep.
that you organised, that evidence
Oh,
with
yes.
other EAs,
Yep.
and your time management plan. So there was just two
Yeah.
points there.
Yeah.
I'll come over because I've got a bit more detailed information here. So I need to be able to let you know where there's the gaps in your skills and knowledge. So I've written here, the candidate gives evidence on how they seek feedback on time management from the relevant personnel. But in the unit of competency, it states that, shuffling papers, just over here, here with the elements and performance criteria for review work performance. In 3.1, in the unit of competency, it says that you need to seek feedback on time management.
Okay.
So the technical side of things in my feedback here is that you haven't shown evidence for that 3.1.
Okay.
And I've said that you provide evidence responding to the feedback, but just not seeking it.
Okay.
The second one, the candidate provides evidence on how they research time management techniques. And again, if we go back to the unit of competency, it's over here, and that's 1.3.
Yep.
So research time management techniques and strategies.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So the actions that I've recommended that you must take to address the gaps, my recommendation is that that you require evidence on seeking feedback on time management
Yep.
and researching time management techniques. Also, I've suggested for you at work that you could include researching time management techniques as part of your performance management.
Yeah.
So you could go back to work and say, I've tried my RPL and these are my gaps, and I would like to have this as a performance management goal.
Okay.
Yep. You could also have a look and seek some professional learning on seeking feedbacks, because I know in our roles within education, we are always responding to feedback, but actually asking for feedback. So there could be some professional learning at your workplace.
Oh, yep. No, that's
And back with your performance management,
yes.
you could also include seeking feedback as part of your performance management.
Yeah.
So let your line manager know that this is something that I'd really like to work on,
Yes.
and I need support, because it's sometimes and within the role it may not come naturally to seek feedback. You respond to it, but actually asking for it.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
We'll go through your portfolio evidence in the next page of my assessor kit, which I think is here. So you can see here with the portfolio that it says not satisfactory. Okay?
Yep.
All right, so I'll just sign that, and I'll get you to sign that as well. Oh, you're stiff. All right, lovely. So the next lot of evidence that I had to assess, Fleur, and the video did come in handy, so that was great. I was able to go back, pause, replay, and listen to it.
Oh, good.
So the questions asked, or the assessment is asking, I asked you, how do you perform tasks according to designated timelines and instructions? And you were able to give quite detailed responses, and you answered this very confidently and clearly, because this is what you do day in and day out.
Yes.
So your verbal responses and answers were sufficient, very sufficient. The second one was, how do you seek assistance from colleagues when difficulties arise? And you were able to provide details on how you seek assistance, and you gave some really good examples of when the paint pots aren't ready and getting work done. So you answered those questions again with confidence. So this was great. How do you identify factors that can affect the work plan? And again, you had lots of different examples, like the relief teacher, the children's behaviours. You were very strong in being able to identify factors. So that's yes, you answered that question sufficiently. My question to you was, how do you communicate the progress of the work plan to relevant personnel following policies and procedures? And you were able to do that. And that's when I had to give you just that little bit of a nudge when, if there was an accident or if there was a hazard, what would you do? And you knew what to do.
Yes.
It's just that you hadn't actually experienced it.
Yeah.
So again, that was satisfactory.
Oh, good.
So my comments here, Fleur, was that you provided multiple examples of verbal evidence when responding to these questions. You answered with confidence and clarity. You were able to answer my questions when prompted to explain further. You didn't get rattled. You just needed just that little bit of a prod.
Yep.
And and I've just noted here that you referred to some personal notes written down to help you answer.
Yeah. Well, I
So-
just find that's easier.
Yes, definitely a visual.
Yes.
Yes. So for task 2, the verbal questions, you were granted a satisfactory, and I've got that over here, so I'll sign here and get your fingers working. Thank you. Now the next one is it's called the next section is the evidence brainstorm. So I got your portfolio and your kit and had a look at the mapping document and the unit of competency. So I'll just read through here.
Sure.
So in the evidence brainstorm, you provided 10 items of evidence, which is good. A lot of work went into it.
Yes.
And they were either provided as photographs or screenshots, and that was ranging from a variety of timetables used throughout your role. You also provided emails, screenshots of your personal alarms and to-do lists, so a range of evidence. Your written notes were included with the evidence, and you were able to explain in further detail about what it looks like, because so in your portfolio you had your evidence, but here you had A, and you wrote what it was happening, but then you were also able to verbally explain it as well. It showed, so you were able to explain further detail what the evidence was and how it showed your competency in completing work tasks, completing tasks on time management, responding to feedback, planning and organising with others, and educating yourself. And here again, it is noted that no evidence has been provided for seeking feedback.
Okay.
I also have included here that educating myself had two evidence samples, although they weren't related to time management. So they were related to your role as a special needs educator, but not
specific enough.
Yeah, not specific to time management.
Okay.
So within the unit, the mapping of the unit, so this is the competencies here. You can see I've cross-referenced. So for element organised work schedule 1.1, discuss and agree on work goals and plans with assistance from relevant personnel.
Yep.
On page 5 of this page 5, my glasses, page 5B, this is what,
I see that.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
corresponds,
it
yeah.
corresponds. So I can say, yes, she's showing evidence
Okay.
there. I won't go through each one,
No.
but you can see that you are covering,
Yep.
you're covering the elements here and the performance criteria. These two yellow highlighted is the 1.3, research time management techniques and strategies. I couldn't find any evidence, so there's
Okay,
nothing
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yep, and seek feedback on time management. There's nothing there either.
Okay.
This blue box is a bit of a null and void. It says identify a relationship between own work goals and plans and organisational goals and plans. We talked about it, but there wasn't specific evidence. So I'm happy through your verbal responses that that was met.
Oh, cool.
So that was your evidence portfolio and the mapping against. So here, I've just highlighted that 1.3 and 3.1 are the gaps.
Yes.
All right. If we just head over to the page now, the third lot of evidence that I assessed was the third-party report, and that was the one that
yes.
Lauren gave.
Yes.
And again, I have to assess that across with the unit of competency and the mapping document. So your third-party, Lauren, the report does tick some boxes, but it doesn't tick all the boxes.
Oh, okay.
So if we have a look, I'll read it and then we can have
Sure.
this here. So the third-party evidence lacks evidence with performance element, seek and use feedback from others to monitor and improve their work evidence.
Okay.
Yeah, so within your third-party report, I couldn't tick that box.
Oh.
Yeah. The evidence indicates that Fleur uses feedback, although there is
yes.
that gap in her seeking feedback in regards to time management.
So if they're saying to me about my time management, I'm listening to what they're telling me and working on it, but I'm not actually asking them.
Yes. So
Okay.
when you go
Alright.
back,
Yes.
I would when you go back to work, I would recommend, if it's at the end of the week or the beginning, you could ask the teacher,
Yes.
could you please provide me some feedback
Yes.
on, my strengths, but what else could I work on? So yeah, ask.
Okay.
Yeah, ask.
Alright.
Yep. This is also the case for the other element of researching.
Oh, okay.
That's not in there.
Yep.
So as this is a competency-based unit, and it states seeks feedback on time management from relevant personnel, there's insufficient
Yep.
evidence within
Yep.
the third party.
Yep. Now I understand better
Yeah.
what you're explaining to me.
Okay. So here it's noted the third party checklist states seeks assistance and feedback from others. The checklist is not sufficient
Okay.
to time management. Oh, specific, sorry.
Yes.
Yep. And so here with the third party report, you can
Yes.
see that her report gives enough evidence to show that you plan and prioritise work tasks.
Yep.
You seek assistance from colleagues when
Yep.
difficulties arise. You plan and identify opportunities for improvement. You develop at least one time management plan. You complete each work task within specified timeframes. And I've ticked here that you use feedback from others to
Yep.
monitor your work performance, but you don't seek it. Yeah. All right.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Fully
so
understand that.
that's good. Just tell me if I'm going too fast. Slow down. That's my signature there. So this is the third one. Okay. And you can see that I've ticked not
Yes.
satisfactory.
Yep.
All right. So they're the three components of my assessment kit. And then we come to the final, like the overall.
Yep.
So I've condensed it all down into one page. So yes,
Not only one page.
yeah. So evidence task 1 was not satisfactory.
Yep.
Task 2, the verbal questions, was satisfactory, And task 3, the third-party report, was not satisfactory.
Okay.
So I've put here Fleur Riley, BSB, PEF 202. At this current time, RPL's not granted. And I'll just initial those. Have you got any questions? Just,
I'll
a
let
lot
you,
of-
yeah,
okay.
I'll wait till you
Yeah,
sort of
all
finish
right then.
and then I can
okay.
give you feedback then if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. Yep. So I've said your evidence covered the majority of the requirements for this unit, but however there were some gaps where no evidence was provided.
Yeah.
And it feels like I'm on repeat here, but I've got to cover my tracks.
Yes.
So and I've just stated here. So in task 1 of the portfolio, checklist number 3 and checklist number 5 were not satisfactory because there wasn't any evidence given. Your written reflection was satisfactory, and the evidence submitted was authentic, as all your evidence had your name on it, and was addressed to you.
Yep.
Task 2, that was satisfactory. I've said see the specific notes on the kit, so you can refer back to them. The third party evidence was not satisfactory, and again you can go back and have a look.
Yes.
So in reference to this unit of competency, there was insufficient evidence for element 1, which was 1.3. There was sufficient evidence for element 2, which is complete work tasks, and insufficient evidence for task 3.
Okay.
So we need to have sufficient evidence in all of them to be granted RPL.
Yes.
So what happens now is that I can give you some recommendations. That's part of the RPL process. So I would I recommend that you need to, if you can, provide evidence of seeking that feedback.
Yes.
And this can be through a third party. So there could be someone when you go away from here, there could be someone at your work, a teacher, it could be a colleague, like another EA, or your line manager, that where you thought, oh, actually I have sought feedback from them before on my time management.
Yes. Okay.
Yep. You also would need to provide some evidence of researching some time management skills.
Sure.
Another recommendation is to just really familiarise yourself with the unit of competency.
Yeah.
So when when you're applying for the recognised prior learning, you've covered everything that is needed on that unit.
Okay.
So I'll just go back to my little sheet here. So knowing now that you've got those couple of gaps, Fleur, do you think you would be able to go away and come back and submit any further evidence?
Yes.
Yep.
I definitely feel more confident to do that.
Okay.
And know the areas that I need to concentrate and work on. And yes,
All right.
I'm very
And
happy.
so you think it's manageable to be able to go back and do that? All right. Well, that's good. And it's not that big. It's there's not lots of gaps all over the place. It's just those two specific.
Sure. So I just have to virtually reapply, use the same answers and evidence for the other answers, but provide new evidence for the gaps.
For the gaps. Yep.
Sure.
Definitely. And that might take longer, for us to process. But yes, definitely.
Okay.
All right. Well, that finishes that part. Oh, so we better sign it, Fleur. That we've all agreed.
Yep.
So this is the final one. That RPL at the current time of the day is not granted. And here I'll just tick. I confirm the information is true and correct, and the results have been recorded by me accurately. Yes. I've signed the outcome summary, which I'll do now. At the end of each task evidence, yes, we did that. And I have discussed the result with the candidate and informed them of the next steps. So you know what you need to do. Good.
Yep.
All right, Fleur, I confirm that I'm aware of the final outcome.
Yes.
And what was the final outcome?
wasn't approved.
Not granted.
Not
yeah.
granted, yeah.
I'm glad you didn't say fail. That's good. I'm aware of my right to appeal.
Yes.
Yes, okay, I'll get you to tick those and sign them, Fleur. Thank you.
Okay.
So that's all yours to take.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I will scan them and store the stored document, the
Sure.
signed documents, and then I can, I'll flick them to you in an email.
Yep.
But also you can have, no, actually, I'll keep the hard copies, and I'll give you the scanned, signed
Yes.
copies.
Yep.
All right.
I prefer that. That way
Yes.
then I can
Store it.
store it in a folder.
All right. So that ends the official
Sure.
part of the interview. And as you know, Fleur, professional growth and receiving feedback is important
Yes.
to me.
Yep.
And receiving feedback from learners helps me improve
Mhm.
as a trainer and an assessor, and I take that seriously because I always want to be, the best assessor and trainer that I can be. So I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit. But I was just wondering, is there any feedback that you would like to offer? Yeah? Okay. And I've got it on video, so if I need to come back, but...
Well, you made me feel very relaxed and comfortable. I'm a little bit nervous when I first come in.
Yes, it
I
is
don't
daunting.
like those review things.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like I was being interrogated. It
Okay.
was casual and friendly, and we had a few laughs and whatnot.
Oh,
So
well, that's good. I'm glad.
It made me feel very comfortable.
All right.
You're very supportive and encouraged by asking further questions when I stumbled a little bit, when I wasn't sure which way you were heading,
Okay.
and you sort of just guided me that way. So that was very, very good.
Oh, that's good. So you didn't feel like you were being interrogated?
No.
No. I was trying to ask those questions.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. I'm glad.
And it's because I have industry experience, it was really settling for me that you knew what I was talking about. You understood where I was coming from and what I was saying, and how it affects, different things affect each day. And
It is helpful, isn't
yes,
it?
yeah, to be on the same page.
To be on, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The
So
only
we could
thing-
relate. Yeah?
Yep. The only thing is maybe a little bit more time for me to think of the answers, like process in my own head what I want to say to you without rushing it and
Okay.
and jumbling it up in my own brain, sort of thing.
All right.
So just
Okay.
maybe
So
a little bit-
ask questions or make a statement and just pause.
Yes.
Don't rush through.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. Just give me that little bit of extra time to think how I'm going to answer you,
All right.
and what I'm saying makes sense.
Yes,
instead
rather
of
than me
being
jumping in.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, that's really good. I think, not that I'm defending myself, but coming in and answering, I think it's me trying to make you not feel
Yes.
awkward and
Yeah.
more nervous.
Yes. More
But
comfortable.
that's really good feedback for me,
Right.
is to just sit and acknowledge that you might need
Yeah.
a little bit of time to process.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I think we'll finish there.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Bye.